ask that a quorum call be dispensed with?
Is there objection? Without objection.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to legislative session and be in a period of morning business with senators permitted to speak therein for up to 10 minutes each.
Is there objection? Without objection. Senator from Arizona.
Thank you. Mr. President, it's my honor and privilege this evening to join with the fellow 9 senators of the G10 who've been working together for months now, along with an additional 12 colleagues who together, the 22 of us senators, have worked long and hard with each other and with the White House to introduce this evening the Bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. We know that this has been a long and sometimes difficult process, but we are proud this evening to announce this legislation, and we look forward very much to working with our colleagues in a collaborative and open way over the coming days to work through this historic investment in infrastructure in our country and to come to agreement in the United States Senate to move forward with this historic piece of legislation. Now, I know many of my colleagues will talk about some of the virtues of the legislation and the great things it will do for the states that we all are proud to represent, the states that all of us senators represent across this country. But what I'd like to direct my brief remarks to this evening, Mr. President, are not the details of this legislative text, though they are significant and I think they're very meaningful and will have an impact on the daily lives of Americans. What I'd like to speak about is the very process. I know it has been difficult and I know it has been long. And what I am proud to say is that is what our forefathers intended when they created a system of government that required Republicans and Democrats to come together in a co-equal branch of government and work with each other and with the administration to find legislation and solutions that meet the needs of our country's individuals and families, companies, communities. It is difficult, it is time-consuming, and it is exactly what our country insisted and demands of us every single day, to take the time to work with each other, to find common ground, to compromise, and to be willing to work with each other, to give a little, to get a little, in order to achieve what's right and what's best for the American people. I think the process we're embarking on this evening, as we soon will join together with our colleagues of both political parties representing every state across the country, is an important one. And it sends a message to the individuals across this country, and indeed to individuals across this world, that the United States government can work. It is difficult. It is time-consuming. It can be hard. But this very process of finding bipartisan compromise and working together to overcome obstacles, to achieve the objectives that the American people are depending upon us to do, is the very heart and the very core of why each of us serve in this government. And I, for one, in addition to being tired, I, for one, am incredibly proud of this process. It is why I ran for office. And I believe it is why we've all run for office. To work together, to overcome differences, to find solutions, and to make a difference in the lives of the American people. As we will see in the coming days, as we hear from our colleagues on both sides of the aisle, offering amendments and adjustments to this legislation, and ultimately, I believe, passing this legislation out of the Senate with a strong bipartisan record, we will continue to once again demonstrate to our country and to the world that we can indeed do our jobs, that we can legislate, that we can work together, and that we can put aside our own political differences for the greater good of our country. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator from Ohio.